Hi.
Hi
Okay,
guys.
first off, love the outfit.
Thanks, bestie. It's
Period.
from Goodwill.
Goodwill has everything. Hi
Hi guys.
guys,
Welcome
welcome
back
back
to
to
the
the
Unfiltered
Unfiltered Femmes.
Femmes.
Yes.
Sparkle, 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 sparkle. So yeah, today we're gonna kind of talk about our high school experience and like friend groups that we've had, kind of
Mm-hmm.
telling the tea on like what we went through because I feel like in your 20s you still kind of have like not trauma, but like it still gets brought up to your day-to-day life.
Like talking talking about it, like those like Insta memes where it's like POV, you're like in your 20s and you're still talking about the same
No,
5-year-old
literally.
tea.
Literally.
Like that's how I feel like we are sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and I try not to bring it up, but like sometimes it just comes up,
But
you
yeah,
know?
that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's such a big thing that happens in your life and like it's hard like even like older people still be talking about high school.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's just a thing. We want to talk about our friend group that we had in a it was like a kind of complicated situation because it was all like separated at first.
And then it kind of came together.
It came together and then it all went apart. So we're gonna talk about this one girl that Sam was friends with her first.
Oh, I'll say her name Gracie. Another side note, if you were on our radar and you fucked with us, like fucked us over in some way, like, whatever, we're
Yeah.
going to talk about it. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about it because we're unfiltered and we're going
Yeah.
to talk about it. We're going to say names. So don't hate the player, hate the game, I
Right. And
guess.
if it obviously happened, and like I feel like the same thing goes for everyone else. Like if they had a situation with
Like,
us, I'd be
even if it's
fine.
good, bad,
Yeah.
whatever, like we're going to talk about it.
Right.
And we're gonna put names in. We're not gonna say like first and last, obviously,
Yeah.
but we're gonna say names.
Yeah.
And if you are from Legacy and you view it, take it with a grain of salt
Sorry, not
or a grain of
sorry.
sugar if
Yeah.
you were nice. But anyway, I met her probably like the last part of sophomore year, and I met her like, so I was like walking to a class and I was wearing, I don't know if you remember that jacket I bought from Rainbow, that like denim one that was really ripped, kind of long.
Yes. Yes.
I was wearing
We did
that.
that together.
Yeah, we went to a mom. I bought that,
Yeah.
but I was wearing that, and I was walking down the stairs, and she's like, "Oh my god, I love your jacket," and I was like, "Oh, thanks," like whatever. Didn't think much of it.
Yeah.
Fast forward to weight training class. I don't like hated the people in there, but the class itself, I got a booty. Like I was like slim, I was like thick, I was like
Period.
hourglass. So
Period.
kind of want to start working out again and doing like
No,
weights and
same. We should
stuff.
go.
We should. But anyway, I met her in that class.
And just to preface, guys, I was not a legacy sophomore
No,
year.
she wasn't. It was
So,
just me at
yes.
this time.
Yeah.
And like we were assigned like partners for like the rest of the year, I think, or like whatever, however many times, whatever. And so that's when really met Gracie. And she's like, "Oh my God, you look so cute. You're always slaying with your outfits," whatever the case may be. And I was like, "Oh, thank you." Like, like whatever. And I was still figuring myself out at this time, like where I stand, what I'm like doing with my like identifier and like how I identify as. So, like, clothing was like a big pick one thing, toss out another, like experimental thing still. And so I was like, it kind of gave me a boost of confidence because a lot of people towards like senior year was like, "Oh my God, she eats every time she dresses," whatever the case.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thank you." Like, like I always take that like really well because like, again, figuring myself out from freshman to fucking senior year. And for everybody that knew me throughout those years, I've had like a big shift. But anyway, so we like did weight training class and stuff, and things were like fun, vibey, whatever the case may be. And things were good that first year. Then junior year rolls around.
Yeah, so junior year, I joined like halfway.
Halfway through.
Um, and I don't even remember how Gracie was. Maybe it was just you were hanging out with her, and
I
I
think I
started.
introduced you to her because we
Yeah,
like we hung out a lot over the summer in between sophomore and junior year. And we like just did everything together. And I introduced you to her at some point,
Yeah.
probably throughout the summer.
Yeah.
And then I did my own thing with her. I did my own thing with you, and then we all collectively did one thing together here and there.
Yeah.
But that goes into junior year, and Em went back halfway through, and at this point, we all knew each other pretty well.
Right. And at this point too, I started hanging out with Mari, and this was this other girl at the school, and this other girl Jamie.
And I kind of hung out with them at that same time too.
So we all just collectively knew each other. And we all started hanging out, and it was fine in the beginning.
Yeah, like we had like good times. I'm not gonna say we didn't.
Gracie didn't really hang out with me, Mari, and Jamie.
It was mainly me. And then I would hang out with Mari and Jamie as well. Right. I was kind of like a social butterfly, so I kind of like went all over the place.
Yeah.
While I was at that school, I didn't stick to one group, I guess.
Yeah. So at this point, we all collectively know each other, right? And obviously, when you put a group together, there's gonna be some fucking drama. You're in high school, and there's a group of girls.
Even now in adulthood, like you gotta kind of prepare for like things that might go down.
Yeah. So it was kind of all not deteriorating, but like small shit would fucking happen. So
this was kind of like halfway through. I was like, this was the time when me and Em, we were like talking, but we weren't, because we went like 2 months without talking for like a minute. And this was like around both of our birthdays, because I'm in February and she's in March. And February was fine, I think. We went out to dinner that one night.
Yeah.
I'll insert a photo or whatever. Yeah. And we went to like this pizza place, whatever. We were all a group hanging out. But like Gracie, I don't want to like speak for her, but like from my view, she didn't like hanging out with anybody but me. She wanted me all to herself at this time. And I tell people time and time again, you're my number one. That's it. She's been there for me in ways none of anybody else has been. No. I hate you. Okay.
We're ending the podcast. Bye.
Bye, guys. No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
No, I love you.
I love you too. You know that. No. But so she just wanted to do like stuff, and like I was wanting to be more social. I had a car. I was the only one in my class at that time who was driving.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, like few people were. Mari was one of them.
Yeah.
But like that wasn't till like a while.
Yeah.
I had my car and I was driving since the beginning of sophomore year. So I wanted to do stuff with friends, whatever, acquaintances, and just hang out, have a vibey time, and go out as groups and stuff. And I did do a lot of group things with people. Yeah. All the way up until like senior year.
Yeah.
And but she just didn't seem very like secure with the fact that I'm gonna have other friends besides her.
And this is kind of before me and Sam not stopped talking, but we were kind of distancing from each other because, one, I knew that Gracie had bad intentions from the start.
Yeah, and I didn't.
And a lot of other people from that school has said the same thing.
And now looking back, people I've talked to being like, oh, do you remember this person? They're like, they confirmed it.
Yeah.
So. And
knowing that I wasn't the only one thinking that, because obviously I'm the type of girl where I love to see my friends have other friends. That's so amazing. Like, I love to see you, like,
especially when you moved, when you first moved here, and like you were telling me about like everything that was happening with Nick.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope she finds her friend group.
Right.
I hope she finds her girls.
And I'm such like an advocate for like, you know what, make your friends, and then we can all like join in. Like we can all have some fun. Like obviously not have drama, but like
have a good time.
Right.
Like rather
than go to the bar, like stuff like that. So Anyway, um at this time I kind of like knew that Gracie was no good, and I think I've mentioned it to you, but you kind of were just like,
I brushed it off,
yeah.
probably.
And I didn't want to seem like the type of person like, oh well, Sam's my friend, so she can't have any other friends. And that's how I didn't want to come off, because that wasn't my intention. But I
No.
could see Gracie making it seem like that if I were
Yeah.
to say something.
Like, oh, she's jealous of you
Yeah.
or whatever the
Which it
case.
did kind of happen. But anyway, so then at this point, I had a class with Gracie, okay? And I started talking to her more and more. And then that like weird like lesbian thing happened with her.
Yeah, I just still don't.
I don't understand
I don't
that.
fully grasp because I'm not gonna speak on anybody's sexuality. Like that is you. Like that is your thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say anything on that. But like she'd say she's lesbian, and then like not really
But then
portray.
get this, guys.
Not to sound stereotypical,
no.
but
But then me and her, I don't even know how this even fucking happened. I think she was trying to make someone jealous.
I think it was like maybe her like one of her exes or something.
know.
I don't know.
Beside the point, we take a video of me and her kissing,
Crazy.
and we both like post it. I think I posted it on my Finsta because like
I think
it
so.
was just like, oh,
If you maybe look through your
random-
archives, if you have it still.
it was like a random video of us kissing, and like I'm the type of person that like posts like random shit on my Finsta all the time. Like it will literally be like
Yeah.
literally today. And everything was fine, and then she like started to make like this whole like story about me and her like being in love with each other.
It's giving scenario, and I'm like, it's giving delusion.
Right. And so at this point, because like I'm pansexual, so I was like, okay, like I'd be down to like, you know, explore that with her. And she like got really fucking weird. Like I got her like a Valentine's Day card, and like she like got all weird about it.
That part I don't remember.
Yeah, I gave her a card in jewelry class that we were in.
That explains it. She never told me about it.
And I gave her a Valentine's Day card, and she was just like, oh, like thanks.
That's giving fake.
And then like she would always like talk about our makeout video and stuff, and like how like hot it was. Sorry if the angle is a little bit different, guys. We
took a brief intermission.
Yeah. But anyway, she kept telling me to delete the video of us kissing, and I was like, why is this girl being so dramatic about that? Like
Literally.
She's the one that told me to fucking do it. So
Yeah.
I don't understand what the problem is now. So yeah, at this point I knew Gracie was not a good person, and I was just like, what is going on here? So that's kind of why me and Sam kind of drifted apart, like from my side at least. And I was just like, I don't want to get involved with that energy because that was just not
it.
No. Gracie had this grand idea to have a meetup to talk about Sam.
Hey.
Now, me being me, I thought this talk was going to be about Sam going through something else. Like
I was.
Yeah.
Like, I was going through it. I don't even know why.
It was with your family.
It's that too, on top of it.
And so I had an idea that maybe it was because, like, Sam's mental health. So, of course, I was like, yeah, let's all come over. We can talk about it. Maybe we can help Sam.
Basically, she played it off as M wanted to start this conversation. And basically, like, we were like, okay, backtracking a little bit. I had hygienic issues like in middle school and some high school.
I think you talked about that in the last episode.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, not proud of it. Moving on. Full of a bag full of like deodorant, perfume, shower literally every other night. Whatever. Moving on from that. But Gracie goes over there and goes, Sam smells so fucking bad, or whatever she said. I wasn't there, so I don't know. I'll elaborate on that a little bit more.
She basically is telling us that we need to talk to Sam about her hygiene and how it's like affecting her friendship with Sam, pretty much. The preface of this
Which I had no clue. She could have been upfront and come to me and told me that, but she chose not to.
Right. And so,
as if Emily wouldn't say anything.
And I kind of was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Because I thought you guys were so like obsessed with each other. Like, why are you over here talking shit about her?
Yeah.
And like that just proved my point right there with like everybody like being like, yeah, Gracie is weird.
Well, and within that same night, because I was like pissed off, I was like crying, like it was like in the time where we were kind of like having a tiff.
Yeah.
So obviously I was like pissed, and so Gracie picks me up or whatever. We met at the Safeway parking lot. I have the picture of that too, like where we took a selfie. Because I think it was when I saw a picture of you and Mari and Sterling and everybody like at your house. So I got flamed. I was flaming mad at that point. And so Gracie was like, yeah, Em like had me over and was like saying that you stank and like you like smelled so bad and like, you know, she was like, it was all her idea, by the way. And I was just like, uh-huh. Yeah, okay. Sure. I just went along with it. And then, because that same night you FaceTimed me.
Yeah.
Or like maybe the day after or whatever. I don't know. And I was, because you told me that, and I was just, you remember my reaction when you said that. I was like, okay. And I was just like, kind of like doing like that, yeah, okay. And you were like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. And then I like hang up or something. Typical me. But like, for her to like flip it that way is just so funny to me.
And that's the type of person she was. Like, she would do that with me, Mari, and like she'd be like, oh, Mari's saying this about you. Obviously, I don't know if that's true, but I don't think Mari would say half those things about me that she did say that she was telling me. And
looking back at it now, like, I doubt it.
No. So she was just always starting. And this was another thing with Gracie too. If she knew that someone had a man that was close to her, she would chase after that man.
Oh, 100%.
She was that type of girl. 100%.
Yeah, which I'll go into a story about that. Well, time flash forward. We're friends, but I moved. So like we were friends only when it was convenient for her. And I was living in Indiana. And basically like I don't know if she knew, but we had each other on Find My. So I'd make sure to like locate her before calling her because I knew it was like, like the right time. And if she doesn't answer, she doesn't answer, whatever.
Right.
And basically, she didn't pick up the phone. And this was like,
oh my God.
Sorry, there's like screaming kids in the background. Basically, she lied a lot about where she was, still not knowing I had her on Find My. Like, she was like, oh, I'm at the gym. Like, I can't talk right now. I'm at the gym. I'm at work, whatever the case may be. And I was like, girl, no, you're not. But I just went along with it.
Well, she would always call you, too, and she had boy problems.
She called me, and it wouldn't be like, oh, how have you been? And I was going through a lot when I was living by myself there. I was like going through health problems and all that stuff, previously mentioned. And she would always call me about boy issues. And one of these boys, Ben, he went to another school, and we met through like Bowman Tech, if any of you viewers from Legacy or any other school in that vicinity are watching.
Yeah.
I met him through Bowman Tech. And I found out he's weird and fucking racist and disgusting and, all around just not a good guy. And so she's like, yeah, I had sex with Ben. And I stood and was like, he's a fucking racist. I'm like, you're fucking a racist? Like, that's like, you're fucking a racist? Like, that's disgusting. This was like probably like a little bit after when I visited for my birthday in 2021. Basically, I kind of knew her dad was like a Trumpy, but I didn't know how bad it was. And so I go get a drink from the garage, and I look up, and I'm like, oh my God, giant Trump flag from probably over there to over here in his garage, hanging up. And I literally am like, what the fuck? And Tiny was like, oh, Tiny, that's when she went out of town because, great friend she is. I'm visiting. She knew that months prior, and she's like, oh, I'm going to be out of town camping or whatever. And I was like, okay. I should have stayed with Tiny. Tiny, if you're watching, hey, love you. Thank you for having me. I should have stayed with Tiny the rest of that trip. Hell, the whole trip. That would
Yeah.
have been even better.
Yeah.
But anyway, so me and Gracie fought about that, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I think I called you.
Yeah.
I was like, she's fucking Ben.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck is this?
Well, and that was the thing too, because like me and Ben weren't even talking, but like there was like rumors going around that me and him had sex.
Yeah,
And Sam was literally hanging out with us when we would have had sex. She was literally in the same room as us the entire time. I don't think you left once.
No, I was just watching.
We were all
He put
watching
on
a
a movie or
movie.
something,
Yeah.
and his room was pretty big, so they were on the bed, and I was like in the chair, but they
Yeah.
weren't doing anything.
No, we were literally just kissing, and I'm not proud of that moment.
And at this time, I had a kind of a crush on him too, before knowing anything.
And like I'm not like I didn't have a crush on him or anything. I was just kind of like, okay, like
I was more
I'll
like,
kiss
he's
you.
cute,
Yeah.
whatever.
So I was just like, okay, like yeah, I'll kiss you, but like shit like that, that's a good example of like her always taking someone else's man, or like if she knows that you're talking to someone,
She's gonna take that.
she's gonna take that. So, kind of backtracking off of Sam's story, yeah, so we just had a lot of problems with her from the get-go. Throughout high school, you guys stayed friends.
Yeah. A little bit after high school, we were friendly until that moment.
But that entire junior year though, like it was hard for me and Sam to like be friends because she was always there.
Yeah.
And starting shit. And
then it made Mari turn on me.
So then she also claimed that I lied about my sexual assault.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So that was also another thing. I'm not really going to touch on it because it's a very sensitive topic. Trigger warning. But long story short, I was assaulted by someone from our high school at the time, and it was a big thing. Like it was a big thing. And obviously fucking in the small town we are in, rumors start going around about it. Which is terrible for me because I didn't want to come out about it in general, which I don't even know how it like got out there because I didn't even tell anybody. So she eventually like found out, and then I don't know what she told you because you're the one that told me about it.
She was like, she basically was like, well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that she got assaulted. And I was like, why would you say that? Like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, you don't discredit anybody. Like, any woman, anybody who's gotten assaulted,
right?
You don't discredit that.
Right. And it's also the fact that tons of other women came out that same year that man did the same thing to them.
Yeah.
So it just boggles my mind that she even thought she had an input on it and say that. It's just insane. So yeah, like long story short, I was just fucking fed up with that bitch. I literally couldn't. So me and Sam kind of like had a falling out in junior year, and I started hanging out with Mari and Jamie more than I was with Sam, I would say.
Yeah.
Because you were just hanging out with Gracie.
It was like around your birthday.
Yeah.
And like we were like hanging out, like we went to Park Meadows. Surprise. But you got a text from like Jamie.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want Sam coming.
Yeah.
And that whole ride back was silent. I was like pissed.
And it wasn't even the reason, like, because this is what like me and Sam talk about now, and like the reason why I feel like a lot of people didn't, not a lot of people, but like that group in general didn't.
No, a lot of people. It was a lot of people.
They didn't want to hang out with you because of Gracie.
Yeah.
It was literally that. Because nobody liked her. I don't know one person who liked her.
I don't, now looking back, me neither,
Yeah.
except her certain like 3,
right,
4 friends maybe.
And
all of them were weird.
And I even got to that point because I was like, I love Sam to death, but I'm not gonna fucking deal with that.
No.
Who does? Who wants to deal with something like that?
And
did you know, like deep down, that it was because of Gracie?
I feel like a part of me did, and a part of me like denied it. And I just like was like, you know what? I don't have any friends right now, And how I felt was like, I don't have any friends, and
Well,
she's the
and
only one that was there for me. But now, looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, she did that, not me. She did. Maybe I did do some things that I'm not proud of. Who didn't? It's high school.
right.
But the majority of me not having friends was her
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
And then senior year rolls around, I had no friends. None. And
fucked
she
it up.
graduated, ruined it for me.
Yeah.
And I just was by myself that whole senior year. And so kind of fast forward, 2020 through 2022, we stopped really talking, and then we talk, and then we wouldn't. And then I was in Florida, so this was 2022. She'd fly out to Florida. I'd still have her Find My on, by the way. She either still didn't know or knew, and whatever. She would come out to Florida, and she wouldn't tell me. And at this point, I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god, you're visiting. I didn't know that. Like, let's go maybe like grab lunch or dinner or whatever. And she's like, I'm really far away from you. Like, I'm so far away. And I'm like, girl, I think you're in Orlando. That's like an hour, less than an hour from my
My
house.
question is like, what was she gaining out of all of that?
I don't
like
know.
what
I want to know.
Was it a control thing?
Probably. Like, if it's convenient for her.
Because then she also got mad at the fact that me and Sam started talking again.
Yeah. And she was like, why are you talking to Em again? I'm like, I told her multiple times, I'm like, we're going to reconcile. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
We're sisters. We're going to have fights. We're not going to talk for a minute. We're going to cool down, and then we're going to talk again, which happened exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
But basically, she was like, oh, you should come to Colorado. And I'm like, I'm not going to Colorado again. I told her that too. I was like, I'm not going to Colorado. If you're in Florida and want to hang out, hit me up.
But she's always there.
She literally was there twice within that year and didn't tell me she was there. I found out through Find My. And that one trip when I was at work, my Find My, so for people that know Florida, I was kind of near like Cocoa Beach. So it was like maybe like an hour east of Orlando. And I was like in that smaller town called Melbourne. And that's where my parents are. That's where I lived at. I was at work, which was maybe 20 minutes away from where she was at when I saw her location. She didn't tell me, and she said, I'm really far away. We could hang out when I come visit again. And I'm like, at this point, I was like, you know what? I made an effort. I literally was like, she goes to Disney every time she's been there.
Of course she does.
Disney adult. Anyway, she went to Disney every time she was there, and I'm like, I'm right there. Like, I can easily drive up to see her. Yeah. I was like, and I tried making it easy. I was like, I'll do the driving. We could meet at like Disney Springs or something, get dinner, catch up, whatever. She's like, oh, maybe another time. At that point, I was like, I'm done. And she was like, oh yeah, let's, plan something, whatever. Like, and if not, the next time I come. And I texted her like couple days later because she was still there, and I was like, oh, did you still want to do dinner? Because it was like that week I had off, because I took that week off, and no response. And at that point I was like, I'm done. I unfollowed, almost contemplated blocking her, which I did for a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I usually unblock people. I don't really care, but I haven't heard from her, nothing. So, but probably for the better, because I'm not dealing with that again, and I'm not going to Colorado for some fuck shit again, ever.
Bouncing off of that, like what I was saying before, and that's kind of like, we're backtracking again. I know Sam wanted to tell that real quick, but Sam, like there was like a lot of other people saying stuff like, Gracie said this, Gracie said that, and it was just a constant thing. And like, even fucking Xavier, which I'll get to that. This is another person in this part of the story where he didn't like her either, because I remember us being in jewelry class, and he wasn't actually enrolled into that class, but he was there to hang out with me, and Gracie was there obviously, and he was even kind of like, she's really weird with you. Like, and why is she always bringing up Sam? Like, she always was trying to get me to talk shit about Sam, too. Like, anytime we would bring her up, it'd always be like, so what do you think about her? Like, oh yeah, Sam did this the other day. And like, I really just don't like that. So what do you think about that, Emily? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, I feel like with that whole time period with Gracie, I feel like it was such a bad time, like, with everybody. And honestly, at the end of the day, I feel like it was us all, like, it was, I'm gonna blame it on her. It was her with everything that entire fucking time. That entire fucking time.
Especially, I didn't know that either. And here I am looking like a fucking, ooh, like fucking idiot, fucking walking around with a girl that I thought like was friends with me, talking shit about me, still probably talking shit.
Well, and that's kind of what I was gonna add in too. Like, that's another thing. I feel like everybody knew deep down that she was like that, and like seeing you continue to be friends with her after that whole thing happened of me telling you, I feel like it was even like a more of like a what is she doing?
Yeah.
Because I remember Mari being like, why would you want to be friends with Sam if she's just gonna go back and hang out with her?
I think a part of it was like I thought I had some moral obligation. Maybe I try to be a decent person, take the high road. Done with that now, by the way, especially with men. But I think I was just like I was a big pushover a lot of the time, and like we just get into the situations when we're pushovers because people can sense on that and fucking exploit it, and it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And I, again, blindly like went into that not knowing anything, apparently like not knowing a whole lot, and talking about it now, it kind of helps because like it's just like what the fuck.
So now that we're done with the Gracie conversation, I kind of want to touch on a little bit with Mari and Jamie. Now, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not really sure how Sam feels about her, but um I feel like Mari, I'm fine with her now. I don't have anything against her at all. She really didn't do anything. Um and I just want to preface that the main reason why I stopped talking to Mari was because we had a lot of issues with Jamie, and Jamie was the one that was like starting shit with my assaulter, and she was sending me photos with him, and like they were naked together type of stuff. So, I'm not really gonna get into that, like I said, because it is a lot of deep shit, and I'm still not mentally okay to talk about it yet. Um, it was hard enough for me to even like come out about my story in 2019. So, therefore, um, I actually met Nick, which is my ex. We talked about him in in the last podcast. We talked about Nick, and she's the one that I met him through, kind of, because her man was friends with him. And with that whole thing, I feel like it was nice for the for that short amount of time, and I'm sure you could say the same thing with like Gracie. Like, it was a great time. Like, you had your good moments and you had your bad.
We had good times, and like I'll cherish those, I guess. Not really now, I'm an adult. But obviously, like there was things that went wrong, and that's what we're here to touch on.
Yeah.
Jamie, on the other hand, racist, rape apologist, all this other stuff. Not here for that. Absolutely not. And then seeing things on Facebook, girls got problems. Just saying. But like I never talked to her really after that whole debacle with around your birthday anyway. So because Jamie and I did stuff one on one as well. Like we hung out. I took her senior photos. I did all this stuff with her for her, and I don't know if she was genuine. Oh, I almost forgot about the cleaning. So with Jamie, she was all over the place with jobs, God knows what have you. And my mom was like, why doesn't she like clean our house? Like she knows us. She knows you. and she's been here before, and she's talked about cleaning and how good she is at it. And I was like, "Oh, you can bring that up. I'm not gonna bring it up. I feel like that's like an awkward place for me to do that." But my mom was like paying her, and half the time she wasn't showing up, or she would show up, and I think, my opinion, I've cleaned. My parents are kind of hoarders, and so I've taken the time out of my day to clean the whole house spotless, and done way better of a job than Miss Jamie. Like, it's, I feel like your own kid knows how to clean for you versus a complete stranger. But on the other hand, like, complete strangers know how to get the job done too. It's a certain one. But she'd come over, clean, we'd hang out, vibe, whatever. All while this was happening, she wasn't showing up, and then she would be stealing stuff from our house, from what I think. Because I bought I was at that moment where I was like rediscovering myself. So, I was cleaning out my wardrobe, putting a new one in. She stole this stuff, did not just get up and walk away. She stole about probably like over $300 worth of my stuff. And I still can't prove it. So allegedly, but I've never seen that stuff again. And I've moved like 4 times already within the last couple years. And M has a theory which honestly makes a lot of sense, where she'd sell it and resell it, or like she'd steal it and resell it.
The only reason why I said that was because, one, I don't think she'd be taking your clothes because, well, one, she's not your size.
Difference.
And she's not your size. She fucking obviously needed money at the time because she was not having a stable job. And any extra money she would get, she would take it. Like, I remember even hanging out with her, she'd always like look for side hustles and stuff. Like, I knew she was trying to get money. So like, that's what main thing that I thought of when Sam told me about that. And I was like, if she is taking that stuff, she's definitely selling it, because why else would she be taking it? But that's funny you say that, because I did want to touch on that too. Like, every time I would have Jamie over, stuff would go missing in my house as well. Like, all of I used to work at Hooters, and most of my uniforms disappeared.
Yeah.
I had a lot of like cute dresses and purses that she would ask to borrow, and I would never see it again. She just took it and she never gave it back to me. So shit like that, there was just like shady shit going on. And it was really fucking irritating. So yeah, so I wanted to kind of get into my birthday party now, because this kind of like goes into like the stealing thing. So I kind of wanted to touch base on this birthday party, because this has a lot to do with like that group at the time, and me and Sam were like hanging out. We never really stopped hanging out. We were still hanging out
in school. We weren't like talking, and we never really had classes together anyway. So I didn't really see her throughout the school day.
So I had my 17th birthday party, and at the time I was talking to Nick, and we weren't official yet. And I invite a lot of people because Mari wanted a lot of her friends there.
Yeah.
She had more friends than I did. So I was like, okay, yeah, you can invite whoever, I don't care. And I buy like a whole bunch of alcohol. Like, my mom was buying it because she's one of the chill moms.
She's a cool mom.
And we have a whole bunch of alcohol. Now there's this boy. He's not a man. He is a boy.
Full on child.
Named Nate. And he fucking comes to the party. Now, I never talked to this man or boy. I never talked to this boy at all. And I knew of him though, and I knew that he was like shady. And he came to the party and he literally stole half the alcohol.
Yeah.
He stole my vapes.
Multiple vapes from multiple people.
He stole my big ass mod. He stole all of my vape collection that I had going on my bookshelf. It was just insane. It was literally insane. And at the time, I brought up briefly before, Xavier was there, and I had him at the door to kind of make sure that everyone was going to be like in their place and like not taking anything. Of course, what is this man fucking doing?
Fucking partying.
Not doing his shit, not doing his job. I even offered him money.
Yeah. I remember you were like, he was sitting outside, and
Yeah.
I pulled up to the front. He was just sitting there, and
Yeah.
he knew I was coming too, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I see him downstairs, and he's taking care of all the drunk girls, and I'm like, what? And I was like, I preface like I wasn't really like downstairs with everybody. I was kind of upstairs with M's mom and her brother, and I was just kind of making things. I checked in up every so often, but like I was just kind of overwhelmed, so I was like upstairs doing my own thing. But
Because the party did kind of move upstairs at one point too.
a little,
Yeah.
that crazy bitch going through your cabinets
Yeah.
wasn't.
There was a girl going through like my cabinets, and like it was just really shady shit going on at that party. And then I remember Jamie asked me if I could bring my assaulter to come to the party. That was another thing.
She did that.
Yeah. She asked if it was
What
okay.
the fuck? Like, why would she ask that?
I don't even remember what was going on with Gracie at that point.
I don't know. She didn't come. That's all.
No,
I know.
hell no.
Hell no. All I remember was like, just like chaos. Like it was
Yeah.
fun at the beginning.
Well, you know what's funny? I think the main reason why Gracie didn't go was because she knew if she did go,
People would grill
Wait
her.
like, really
So-
want to talk about that meetup that you did?
Yeah, and I would have, because I straight up was. I've had moments in my head where I've been like wanting to like put her on the spot.
Yeah, so back to the party thing. That whole night was just a fucking disaster. Nick was being a pick me, fucking literally like
Drunk as fuck. I love her. I love her. I'm like, bro, sober
Like-
up and mean it.
And what's even more crazy is that this is kind of irrelevant, but not but relevant at the same time. But this was with a few, like this was in the beginning when I first started talking to my now husband. He literally was living in Ohio at that time, and he literally was asking to come to the party, and he wanted to fly out to come to my party.
Slay.
And all I'm thinking in my head is, imagine if he came.
It would have been you and him, not. It would have been you and him, not fucking you and the monster. Also, can we talk about when that girl that went through your cabinets peed in your shower?
She peed in my shower. Also, someone shoved Coke down my
Your drain.
drain.
And we had no clue, and you kept wondering why your drain wasn't draining properly. And didn't like Sterling open it up, or somebody did, and they found like the bag?
No, I think it was my mom.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was my mom. I don't know. I don't
Who
remember.
knows?
But my drain wasn't draining, and so someone opened it up, and there was a baggie of Coke in my sink. Very Legacy High School.
I was thinking more Holy Family, but you know,
It was like a rich town, so like everybody was fucking doing like
something or
rich
other.
kid drugs. So yeah, I think after that party, I think a lot of shit kind of not necessarily like died down, but the group kind of separated after that.
Yeah, everybody's
because-
doing their own thing.
Yeah. Me and Mari still continued to talk a little bit. Like we never really had a falling out. Like
No.
we just stopped kind of talking.
Well, and over that summer too, like going into senior year, we met up like maybe like
Yeah.
once. That was it.
Yeah. And she was obviously still hanging out with Nick, so
Yeah.
because her boyfriend was best friends with him, and
Yeah.
we were all hanging out as well. And I would see her once in a while, but like it wasn't like
Constant.
no. Do we want to talk about prom too?
Oh my god, prom, y'all.
It's prom season, so it's like fun that we're talking about.
It's appropriate.
How was your prom?
Mine sucked. I asked Gracie, guys. I asked Gracie. I could have asked M, and I went and asked Gracie. Why? No clue. M would have been a way better date. Just saying.
Oh,
Obviously, we know each other.
no.
You know what this girl did? She had me wait for 2 hours. No, more like 4 hours. I was ready. She didn't even have me come over to get ready with everybody. I got ready at my own house by myself, waiting. And I need to find a picture. God. Outfit 8, hair didn't. And there was already
That's funny
drama
you
in that
say
year
that.
too.
That's funny you say that because my hair wasn't eating that day either, and it was just my outfit.
Your outfit slayed.
It
Our
was the
outfit slayed.
hair.
I wore like that sheer like long
Yeah.
dress, black
We
pants.
can insert a pic.
Yeah, like both of our prom outfits. But I was waiting around for this bitch to hurry up and get dressed and go to prom. I thought we were gonna do something cute and elegant for prom dinner. We went to the fucking Village Inn. I love me a Village Inn. I'm a Village Inn bitch. I'm not gonna deny that. But
The fact that y'all went on prom though, you couldn't have at least gone to like cheesecake or
where all
something.
the losers and the band nerds went.
Of course, perfect fitting for her.
Oh no, literally, that's all at this point. I don't know. That was definitely the group she was going for the men in. But that whole night was a wreck, and I was already having drama with other people who didn't like me either, probably because of Gracie. That night was so weird. She was dancing off with other people. I was doing my own thing. I was dancing probably more with Allie, my friend Allie, at that time. And I was like, this date sucked. Like, if it were you, we'd be side by
Right.
side the whole time.
I mean, for my prom, like it wasn't that bad. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm being dramatic when I say it was bad, but I went to Nick's school for graduation. I didn't go to my school because Sam went with Gracie, so there was no point for me to go. And Mari had a date, obviously, for the legacy one
Yeah.
at our school, so I didn't go. So my prom was pretty good though. Like we went to Bonefish. I don't eat fish. I don't know who suggested that, but we went to Bonefish and we took pics and went to the prom, danced, and
Your prom was pretty elegant, right?
yeah.
Mine was trashy
Well, it was legacy.
and gross.
We went to like a North Glen party, which was like my boyfriend at the time school, and it was like okay. Went home and went to bed. That was literally it. Didn't fucking do anything else after that. And like I swear, like being a young kid, like you always think prom is gonna be the most like exciting fucking thing of your life.
Looking back, not really. We ditched our homecoming.
Yeah.
We didn't go to homecoming.
We never went.
I had no interest to, and
that shit was expensive.
Expensive. The prom tickets too.
How much
insane.
was Legacy's?
Like 40.
I think North Glen's was 100.
Well, theirs was more elegant. Ours was fucking, which is weird because Legacy's in like a better part.
It's like rich kids.
Yeah, so you think our prom would be a little bit more glamorous,
right?
But it wasn't. But this was junior year. Fucking senior year prom was canceled because of COVID and all that stuff. One. But yeah, like that goes to show how little Legacy cared because the venue was terrible. Everything sucked. The fucking band. So the band kept playing like 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 songs with like explicit words, but they kept bleeping them out. And they were like, she looks so perfect standing there in her American Apparel bleep. And I'm like,
they bleeped out underwear. I
don't know, something along those lines. All the faculty at that school had an issue if we said damn it. So I don't know. I remember the dean going feral when I said fuck in front of him.
That's so interesting too, because like at the North Glen prom, like they were all fucking blasting like rap music. Like
period.
No cursing was there.
Cursing was definitely there.
There was no bleeping.
That's because that school goes a little harder than Legacy did. Pussies.
It's a bunch of pussies, yeah. So yeah, that was kind of like our prom experience. I just wanted to bring that up. Like, one, it's prom season, and I feel like that has a lot to do with like that era.
But if you're thinking about going to prom and your school sucks, don't go to prom.
Don't. No. So yeah, I think that kind of sums up our video.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this episode. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode on Friday.
Bye.
Bye. And that's a wrap.